who do I think I am disappearing for like 3 months? So yeah, sorry about that. We haven't had a lot of reviews going up. It's been a bit slow lately, but I do have something that I've had for probably about a month now, and I've been meaning to review it, and I haven't done it, and I feel really lazy for not having done it, but I'm going to review it now anyway. And this is sort of a pre-release teaser, because I got this before it hit shelves, because it still hasn't officially hit shelves yet. And I am, of course, talking about All Quiet on the Martian Front. So yeah, All Quiet on the Martian Front then. It's a 15mm mass war game. Basically, it's a continuation of War of the Worlds, which I love because H.G. Wells is one of my favorite writers, and War of the Worlds is one of my favorite books. And this is pretty much more of the same in terms of plot, but it does have a major issue in its fluff that I have to kind of bring up, and I know some people are probably going to belittle me for bringing this up, but I really do want to address this. So the fluff, as far as what's in here, basically says the Martians launch a second attack. After all these years, nobody knows, if they're coming back. They all think they're all gone, blah, blah, blah. And it's 1908, and Martians have come back. People are like, oh my god, they're Martians! So the Martians land all over the world, and they just annihilate all these countries. Except America. Guys, I know this is a game made in the US. It's made down the street from where I used to live in Maryland. I mean, I get it, but really? We weren't some military superpower in 1908. At least get your history right on that. That minor quibble aside, the rest of the fluff is really good and very interesting. It's very much War of the Worlds Part 2. And you kind of know what you're getting into when you go into it. There's no real surprises. So, how's the book? It's a book. It's fine. Nice hardcover, full of tons of pictures and models, as well as a bunch of great art and all sorts of cool stuff. And since this does take place on the American front of the Second Martian War, you get this cool map of the United States showing where the Martian territories are and the free territories and all that good stuff. And it's a pretty tidy little bundle. You get all this fluff, you get all the rules, you get all the stats for the US, the Martians, and the British Expeditionary Force in under 200 pages, which is pretty surprising, all things considered. I'm used to seeing rulebooks that are 200 to 300 pages these days, and this is pretty tight. So, the rules then. How are they? They're damn good. They've done something very interesting, whereas most games either try and have an alternating activation system where you can do whatever you want with your guys in whatever order, or they try and force you into a very boring, stagnant, terrible phase system where you have to do things in a specific order. This kind of does both. You see, in this, you have 3 phases to a unit activation. There's the first movement phase, combat phase, second movement phase. So everybody gets to move, shoot, and then move, which keeps the game very mobile and very tactical, and I absolutely love it. Also, if I end up being all gross and sweaty throughout the course of this video, it's because it's like 100 degrees outside in Utah, and my apartment has no air conditioning for some silly reason. So yeah, you have the first move where you get to move, and then you get to shoot, and then you get to move again. And I think that really does add a lot of tactical depth to the game. It means you get to do stuff. It means you're not limited to moving and then shooting and then just being stuck there. You can make tactical retreats as they are necessary. And that's good. I mean, if you're going to have a phase system that's going to force you to move before you shoot, at least give them a second movement phase afterward. I hear Relic Knights does a very similar thing, and if I ever manage to get my hands on that rulebook, I'll tell you. So combat in the game is pretty simple. You roll d10s based on how many attacks a base has, based on how many dudes it has, and different weapons will have different power. They'll either have a dash, or they'll have like a plus whatever, which will add to the die roll. So when you roll, you need to roll higher than your opponent's defense, or equal to or higher than your opponent's defense to hit them. And then to damage them, they have an armor value, and you have to roll equal to or higher that to damage them. And that's where weapons with plus something to their power really come in handy, because taking out big things like assault tripods for the Martians, which are like armor 10, a little ludicrous considering you're rolling 10-sided dice, so it means you bring heavier firepower to take out heavier things. So rifles really aren't going to do much at jack against a tripod or a tank, but they are going to do good against other infantry. And then big stuff like special weapons are going to do stuff against armor targets. Speaking of shooting Martian tripods, they have a cool little table in here that's all about damage that you do to tripods. And so instead of just inflicting a straight up damage point, you roll on this chart and it tells you what you do, and you can knock out their weapons, or you can take out one of their legs. And there's all sorts of cool stuff. And that's really helpful, because without stuff like this, the tripods will be retardedly overpowered. Now look, I get an assault tripod's 200 points in this game, which is quite a hefty chunk of points. But man, they're strong. I mean, ridiculously strong. So having that tripod damage chart and having weapons that can get bonuses to damaging them, or bringing cavalry which can use tripwires, which is cool, and you can trip them and they can explode, and it's really awesome. And there's a lot of ways to actually kill them. But it does feel like if you're playing Martians, why would you ever bring anything other than assault tripod? Now, like I said, there's 3 armies in this book. You have the United States, the Martians, and the British Expeditionary Force. And each of them has a very good selection of stuff. The BEF feel a little light because a lot of their stuff is just, oh, well, you can use this thing from the US, which kind of sucks because I want to play British. I don't want to play US. I want to play Brits. It's the same reason if I was playing Brits in Flames of War, like I play Brits in Bolt Action. I'm not bringing US tanks. I want to use British equipment. And these 2 human factions don't feel very different from each other. Like, they have different weapons here and there, but so much of it is, if you're playing the BEF, you just use these American things, and it just doesn't feel like there's enough diversity. The Martians, on the other hand, have a ton of stuff. But again, assault tripods are so good for their price that some of it just seems rendered kind of moot. Now, that's not to say the other things in the Martian entry are bad. I mean, there's still stuff in here that's good, and most everything in here is armor 10 or 11. In fact, I got it wrong earlier in my example. An assault tripod's armor 11. They have a thing called a founder tripod that's armor 13, which means you literally can't damage it without bringing really big guns. In fact, the lowest armor of any tripod is 10, so all their tripods are really heavy, but it just seems like assault tripods are really, really good for what they cost. Maybe it's just me, and I've only ever played against assault tripods because the only time I've played the game is the demo games they put out when we were backing the Kickstarter. And I played those with Zach, and all they were, you have an assault tripod, your opponent has this, go. And I always played the humans because I didn't really care for playing the Martians. No matter how much I love the Martians in the War of the Worlds series, I just didn't care to play them. All my minor quibbles aside, this is a fantastic game. It has a lot of really cool mechanic elements, and it plays really smooth. Like I said, I've only ever played demos, but it had the core of the rules in it, and it flowed. And it felt very tactical, and I felt like I was actually making a difference when I did stuff in the game. And that's what I want. I want to feel like I'm actually commanding an army and being able to make wise tactical decisions. Now, do the rules have their flaws? Sure. There's some stuff in here like cover and terrain that's a little needlessly complicated in my opinion. Like, there's a whole table on different terrain. It takes up like half a page. But overall, the basics of the game are really good, and the advanced stuff isn't too fiddly and complicated to make it unfun to play. So yeah, overall, All Quiet on the Martian Front is a really good game, and when it hits retail, pick up the rulebook. It's worth it. If you can get it for a good price, I don't know how much it's retailing off the top of my head, but pick it up, especially if you liked War of the Worlds, and I mean real War of the Worlds, not that terrible, terrible, terrible Tom Cruise movie. There's also a 2-player starter box available for it, which goes for a good price on most online retailers. So go pick that up too. I mean, if you've got a friend who wants to get into it, grab it. It gets you all you need. It gets you the rules. It gets you models. It gets you dice. It gets you templates and all that good stuff. And frankly, it's just a cool game. It's awesome to see a classic piece of literature like War of the Worlds getting recognition in the miniatures gaming community. And the fact that we got such a good game out of it actually is a testament to where the gaming industry is heading, because it means we're not going to be stuck stagnating for the rest of our lives. We're actually going to get good games by companies that care. So yeah, All Quiet on the Martian Front gets a definite recommendation from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter by following the links down below. And, you know, let us know what you guys think. Let us know what games you're interested in seeing us talk about and review, and I'll see if I can't get my hands on the rulebooks. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to turn my fan back on.